Welcome back. You're still tuned in to News and Views. The time is 9:55 Central African Time, and Ramadan is almost upon us. It's a sacred month marked by a lot of reflection, sacrifice, generosity, and community. But for many families across South Africa, the approach of Ramadan brings a painful question. How will we afford to break our fast? With rising food prices, unemployment being at an all time high, and economic pressure weighing heavily, especially on vulnerable households, the need for support has never been greater. And this morning, we're joined by Shanon Correia from Islamic Relief South Africa. And they're going to be talking to us about their Ramadan food program and how communities can step forward to make a difference. How you, listening right now, can help a family have a better, blessed Ramadan. And Shannon's joining us via our virtual platform. Shanon, good morning. Thank you so much for giving us your time. Welcome to News and Views. I'm really looking forward to a very important conversation.
Thanks very much for having me.
No, the pleasure's all ours, and we'll jump right into it. Why is food support especially critical right now in South Africa as we approach the blessed month of Ramadan?
Many families in South Africa are living on unstable or informal income, and food costs continue to rise, as you mentioned. By the time Ramadan arrives, cupboards are already bare. For fasting families, especially the elderly, children, and female headed households, the stress of not knowing how they'll break their fast can be overwhelming. Our Ramadan food packs are about easing the pressure at the most critical time so that families can focus on worship instead of worry.
And I think that's very, very important. And I want to get more insight on the Ramadan food program. What exactly is its core purpose, and how does it work? What's it all about?
So, the Ramadan Food Program is one of Islamic Relief's longest running initiatives. And globally in 2026, we aim to distribute over 222,000 food packs across 33 countries,
Mm,
reaching 1.18 million people, inshallah. And here in South Africa, we focus on families facing food insecurity and those who are most vulnerable to hunger during Ramadan. So the aim
mm.
is to ensure that families have enough food at home to sustain them throughout the entire month.
Mm, and what exactly does a Ramadan food pack contain? Is it different for families here in South Africa and for families abroad?
Yes, so each pack is carefully designed to meet local needs, and depending on the province, it includes staple foods like maize meal, rice, and some, oats, lentils, and tinned fish, cooking oil, sugar, salt, and flour, and then peanut butter jam, soup mix, and tea. So these are practical, nutritious items that families already use, allowing them to prepare proper suhoor and iftar meals at home.
Mm, mm, mm. Let's talk about cost and sponsorship. How much does it cost to sponsor one of these food packs, especially for those that want to get involved and be a part of it?
So the cost of a Ramadan food pack depends on the region due to differences in food prices and the cost of living. And here in South Africa, 1,250 Rand sponsors a family with enough food for the whole month. And this also includes our neighboring countries as we extend our local distributions to Zimbabwe and Lesotho as well. And donors can also choose to sponsor food packs that are distributed globally. So the costs are as follows. It's 1,000 Rand for a family in South or Southeast Asia, 1,600 Rand for a family in the Middle East, 2,100 Rand for a family in Europe, 2,400 Rand for a family in East Africa, and 2,500 Rand for a family in West Africa. So
Mm,
full details about the countries and each region are available on the website.
and beneficiaries, who exactly are the families that are receiving this kind of support, and how are they identified? What's the criteria that you guys use to make sure that one family does qualify for this program?
So we prioritize the most vulnerable members of our communities. So that includes elderly people with no income, female-headed households, families affected by unemployment, refugees and migrant families, and households where people are already skipping meals or parents are going without food so that their children can eat. So,
Mm,
really, our Ramadan food packs help restore balance, dignity, and stability to these households.
mm, mm. And when it comes to timing, how critical is it that families receive this support, right at the right time, whether it's before or right at the start of the holy month of Ramadan?
So, the weeks before Ramadan are often the hardest for these vulnerable families because often there's no savings and rising food costs make preparation impossible. So, by preparing early, we are able to identify the households in need, purchase food in bulk to help stretch donations further, and to distribute the packs ahead of time so that by the time Ramadan starts, the food packs are already with the families.
Mm, mm, and how does this initiative reflect the true spirit and value of Ramadan from IRSA's point of view?
Well, Ramadan is a time about compassion and caring for others, and our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught us that whoever helps a fasting person break their fast shares in that reward. So when somebody gives a Ramadan food pack, they are sharing in that reward, but also easing real hardship for others. And by reducing hunger and easing financial stress of these struggling families, we help them to focus on spirituality instead of survival.
Mm, mm. Very, very important to note that. Lastly, before I let you go, how can our listeners get involved and contribute and be part of this very, very important initiative that you guys have come up with at a very, very critical month?
Listeners can sponsor a Ramadan food pack from 1,000 Rand, either as individuals, families, or through workplaces or community groups. And these donations can support families, as we mentioned here or globally, ensuring that no families are left behind this Ramadan. So, for anyone wanting to get involved, we invite listeners to visit our website, islamicrelief.org.za, to learn more and to make a contribution, inshallah.
There you go, Shanon Correia, IRSA's communication representative. Thank you so much for chatting to us. And really, really wonderful work that you guys are doing out at Islamic Relief South Africa.
Thanks so much for having us.
There you go. And yeah, to you, our listeners, Ramadan is approaching, and I think this is a very, very important opportunity to extend our Ramadan table to families that are in need here in South Africa and also abroad. And you can do that by visiting Islamic Relief South Africa's website. It's islamic-relief.org.za. I think X will put it up on the screen. Oh, it's there. And then you can sponsor a food pack and ensure a household here at home observes this blessed month with dignity, with nourishment, and with hope. So yeah, very, very important. I think a stance there by Islamic Relief South Africa. Be a part of it. Make a change with the little that you have. Times are tough and there's donor fatigue, but Ramadan presents a month that is none like any other. It's a month of giving, and we know how blessed those that give are with those that receive. And with that, we've come to the end of today's edition of News and Views. Thank you so much for staying with us for the past 2 hours and 3 minutes. I'll be back with you again tomorrow for the Thursday edition of the show. Otherwise, from myself, Salaylo Makudir, and everyone that made today's edition a possibility, it's Shap Shap.